I'm still logged into this. Oh, I need to log back into this. Shoot. Yes, allow access. All right. All right. Jade, how's it going? How's it going, man? Uh, yep. Yep. What is there to say? Guess I'll give it a moment before I really get into it. Let people trickle in. Yeah. Yep. Been a rough 24 hours, huh? A rough 24 hours. You know, I really didn't think this would affect me that much. You know, usually I'm got pretty thick skin. Thick skin's not the right word. You know, a lot of these tragedies in the world don't. You know, I think I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing it, but this really, I'm deeply disturbed by this. I've been off the net all day. Yeah. It's like I had like trouble sleeping. I had to get out of the house. Yeah, I did too. I just had to get out, you know. And I don't know. The whole thing is so tragic. And it's sad that sometimes it takes death to really reevaluate things. Now, I've been very critical of Charlie Kirk in the past. Whether it's for his evangelical theology or his defense of Israel. But doing this sort of retrospective, it truly seems like he believed in what he was saying. You know, that he wasn't just a political actor, but maybe he truly did his best. But regardless of the disagreements, of course, what a horrific thing to happen. And it's been, you know, like I went offline yesterday and, you know, I returned my mom's phone call. She wanted to talk about it. Talked to my parents for like an hour about it. And then I couldn't think, you know, I just couldn't think, couldn't get my mind off of it. I tried playing video games to distract just nothing was, you know, just couldn't even fall asleep really. You're dreading giving socials a scroll? Yeah, it's been absolutely horrific, and that's the whole other aspect to this that's kind of haunting. As if the tragedy weren't enough, seeing how so many people are celebrating this It's downright appalling. You know, you've got people doing TikTok dances, saying all kinds of nasty things, wishing him harm, or wishing harm on more people now, cheering on this violence. It's just dark. And you really think, you know, I think most reasonable people with souls, with a conscience, are horrified by what they saw. You know, regardless of really where you fall on the political spectrum. Like I said, I've had plenty of disagreements with Charlie Kirk. I mean, in a certain sense, he was ideologically one of my biggest opponents. You know, I wouldn't wish this on anybody. So I pray for Charlie and his family. I don't know. It's moments like these where, you know, I'm just reminded a lot of people just don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the score. They don't get it. And in a certain sense, you can't help but feel sorry for a lot of these people. You know, many people try, I think, very, very hard to pursue the truth, and sometimes they don't get it right. I'm not saying I get it right all the time. But I just see how a lot of people have been totally consumed by this hatred, this vitriol. And you can't help but just feel sorry for them on a certain level. You know, forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And it's this... I just lament that this is where we're at. This is our country. This is the state of humanity at this point. And it's just tragic, you know? It's just a terrible, terrible place we find ourselves. Charlie was a brother in Christ. He was. We pray for the repose of his soul. And apparently the people that are close to him, you know, he started attending Catholic church with his wife, who's Catholic. And that just the day prior, they made their marriage official in the Catholic Church. So I genuinely believe that maybe he really did believe in what he said, and he was just trying to pursue the truth. And it led him along a different path than many of us. But I look at somebody, I don't know, he's a family man. I think his love for Christ was genuine. Having been a young edgelord at one point, I assumed I'd see some jokes, but it's not even jokes, just plain celebration. Yeah, it's sick. It's sick, man. And like I said, as somebody that disagreed with him vehemently, you know, you would think that I guess if you were a third-party observer, you would think that we would be celebrating his death the most. But on the contrary. Yeah, I don't know. Why do I bother streaming on Kick? I see it as people who live without Christ, and you've got to pray for them, you know? Evil walks among us, never forget that. And we all have evil within us, too. So in many ways, as we pray for ourselves, we should pray for others, because we should see ourselves in others. Apparently one of the last shows Charlie did, he interviewed Ben Shapiro. And he was asking Ben Shapiro. He began to wonder if, in his words, if in the same way that the media lied about COVID and Ukraine, he wondered if they were lying about Israel too. Have I been praying? I have been. Yeah. Yeah, I got off, and yesterday I prayed the rosary, and I don't typically like to, talk about how or when I pray. I tend to think it's best to keep that private. I don't want to make a performance out of it, I don't want to come off as some kind of, I don't want a virtue signal or anything like that. But yeah, it's just deeply disturbing, man. What's up? They find the shooter? As far as I don't know. I don't know if they will find the shooter at this point. His absence made me realize how much I valued him. I took him for granted when he defended the synagogue. Yeah. Maybe we treated him too unfairly. Because he was an, vocal advocate for pro-life. No matter what the truth is with Charlie, the situation has given me more confidence to spread the truth. Yeah. Yeah, he was one of ours ultimately. What a Nick tweet. Okay, Nick's gonna be going live at 8:30. Okay. Yeah, my stream's probably gonna be pretty short today. I'll be honest, yeah, this has really disturbed me. Is there an active shooter on a military base right now? Can't tell if I'm too deep in their algorithm or not. They apparently called the all clear on that. There are a couple of scares. There was reports of another shooter at, was it Boston University? A bomb threat in some Democrat facility in Washington, D.C. And then another military facility. Was it Annapolis? But I believe all three of them were false alarms. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I hope everything is well too. I mean, it's just, man. Short streams for the win. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of deflated. I'm kind of deflated. But I guess, yeah, we should maybe just start getting into it, huh? Let's see what Dave Smith has to say about, because Nick called his show off to pray yesterday.
And I think the test is just that, like, when something like this happens, you're appropriately horrified. You just go, that is awful. This is inexcusable. I feel horrible for the family and all that. You don't start like hate mongering and getting everybody worked up and furious about the other side. It's a thing that people do online. It's great for fucking clicks, and it's great for, you know what I mean? Like, and it feels good in a way too. I'm sure a lot of people genuinely believe it. It's easy to genuinely believe it in a moment like this.
HBCU colleges all got bomb threats.
You don't do that. You don't start jumping to wild theories and stating them as if they're fact when you know you can't even build a coherent theory, yet alone know this for a fact. You don't start doing that, and you don't start equivocating about who was really wrong or who wasn't. It's like, just be that. Just like, it's the most basic of tests. And I do have to say, man, that I was really pleasantly I wouldn't say surprised, but I was very happy to see that, like, Nick Fuentes really passed that test with flying colors. I just saw on Twitter that he just basically said the exact right thing, and then he canceled his show last night and was like, I'm just not going to do that in light of these events. And I don't know, I just thought, like, it's weird. Of course, in this world we live in, it's like Nick Fuentes is the one in this moment who, like, actually has the appropriate kind of adult reaction. That's where we're at in the. I don't mean that as a shot at Nick. This is purely a compliment to him. I'm just kind of making fun of the way he's caricatured versus the reality of it. But and I'm just particularly giving him credit just because, again, like, the way he's caricatured versus, like, how actually so many of these supposed grown-ups in the room are acting. But there were a lot of people who I thought really did that, and I do really appreciate that. I think, like, in these moments, like, for whatever the fuck we're doing, living in this world with people who follow us watch our shows and follow our social media accounts, for the people who have, like, somewhat of a following, it's just like, if we're not doing anything else, it's like it's a kind of like easy line for me to see, like, who are the good guys and the bad guys, kind of based on how they handle things like this.
Yeah, well said.
And I think the test is
well said. Well said. W Dave Smith. Yeah, as far as I know, I don't think they're gonna find the guy. They supposedly found the rifle. Here. So, yeah, 30 caliber Mauser. I don't know, man. Told you no way it was 5.56. Yeah, I said it was either 5.56 or 7.6251. But regardless, WG take, yeah, W Dave Smith. He's a good one. Man, let me just double check. Anything new? So they locked down Annapolis. Apparently, wait. After posting the ATF source leak about the Charlie Kirk shooting, Steven Crowder reveals his company is now subpoenaed by ATF. The ATF will lean on Crowder to give up his source. Because Crowder got an exclusive leak about apparently the firearm that had engravings, transgender and anti-fascist ideology engravings. But is it real? I don't know. Initial unconfirmed reports of 3 casualties at the U.S. Naval Academy in Annapolis as a result of gunfire. Or maybe I was wrong. Maybe it wasn't. This one wasn't given the all clear. I guess it was just the other ones. What is going on, man? The former midshipman responsible for a shooting. So the alleged person of interest. Looks like he's limping. Maybe he hurt his leg or something. If Nick doesn't go live tonight, I'm going back to being. Nah, he's going live. Is the trans message real? It's being reported. I mean, I guess it could be a plant. I'm not sure. Got the rifle in his leg. Rifle and pants. Maybe. This might be before he reportedly dumped the rifle. But I also read that, well, hang on. Yeah, there's no way to really... Because some people were saying that apparently he might have disassembled the rifle to fit in his backpack, but it doesn't even look like he'd be able to fit that even in a collapsed state in the backpack he was carrying. So yeah, maybe he did put it in his pants. That's on his way to the campus? Oh, was it now? Yeah, it is actually, right. It's before noon. Wait, this is... Okay, so this is after. This is before, this is after where he's running. Okay. That doesn't look like he's limping then. Oops. So so I guess there has been a shooting at Annapolis. That's not good. Okay. Don't know who's responsible for the shooting at Annapolis just yet. Just unconfirmed report. Okay, they've geolocated it. Breaking. Police say they have not yet identified a person of interest in Charlie Kirk's murder, denying earlier reports by CBS. See, they're just going back and forth. You know, the FBI is saying one thing, local police is saying, no, that's not true. I don't know what's going on. This is just bizarre. Competence or concealment, hard to tell. Nobody can trust the authorities. Yeah, it is hard to say. And then, you know, you go back to the first guy they arrested, the old dude. Zen was his name. Kumquat were here, he'd be giggling. Could he have been the patsy? Or rather a distraction if this was an organized thing? This guy. Because once they believe they have the suspect in custody, they're less likely to be searching for another shooter, so to speak. They're clearing rooms if they think they've neutralized the threat. That could give the shooter enough of a window to escape, even if it's just like 40 seconds or so. Yeah. Something is just weird about this. You know, it's... Again, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but... I mean, you look at... No, people have, Can I get a satellite image? There we go. Now, people have mentioned how close they are to the airport, the Provo airport. He's right on the highway. So he could have escaped in the parking lot, hopped in the highway, been down to the airport within like 40 minutes, and gotten out of there. You think the old guy was in on it? Certainly seems like a possibility. He screamed, "Shoot me," after the shooting. Yeah, certainly suspicious. It's like old boomer, out of touch liberal, or potential planted op. It's time we just start jumping to conclusions. How much longer can we eat the slop? No, we don't jump to conclusions. We shouldn't jump to conclusions. Let's be smart. Let's not be sensational. But all we can, like right now, it's all we can really do is lean on speculation, conjecture. So that's all we have at the moment. So if this guy were to make a daring escape, he definitely would have gotten on the highway. Or rather, he could have. And then he's already gone. And then the airport's right there. Boom, he hops on the plane. We saw that article or that post about the suspicious activity of this one private jet that took off from that airport that turned off its transponder. So that definitely could have had something to do with it. But again, we just don't know right now. We might never know, but we'll see. Time goes on, we can sort of refine our theory, our various theories. But the old guy wears a small hat. Yeah, he does, which is also suspicious. So if you believe in the like Mossad hypothesis, that certainly adds another layer to it. Maybe adds a little more credence that this could be a planned op. I'm not saying it's like it could only have been done by a planned op, because this shot is something that is not like even a moderately trained civilian could make this shot. It's not too difficult. 400 feet or so with a scoped rifle. Not a difficult shot. Are we supposed to just believe whatever they eventually come out with? Well, no, not necessarily. But more details are still coming out. 4chan is trying to uncover the situation. I'm not sure they're having success. it's just, it would be, you know, how, like, does it make too much of a difference if we make our theory today or a week from now when we have no doubt more information, if we let the story mature a little bit? We don't want to jump to conclusions, because what if we're wrong? Of course. It's not just a shot through the whole scenario and the fact he escaped and is still at large. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly suspicious. I think they exaggerate how far the shooter was. Well, they made, like, some people were making it out like this is like a shot only a trained sniper could make. It's not. From here to here is about 400 feet. It's not a super difficult shot to make. So it's possible it could have been a trained or not a trained, but just a intelligent autist, a lone gunman autist. It's possible whoever it was clearly thought this through. Right, whoever it was, he was spotted leaving the building to the parking lot, and then boom, could have crossed the street, but the road's right here. Hops on the road, gets on the highway, and then he's gone. And he could be in Tijuana for all we know by now. Why are we acting like that is definitely where the shot came from, though? Because I think there's quite a bit of evidence that this is where the shot came from. Right here. Because of the audio profile. You know, you look at footage, and you can hear the shot coming, like from this footage here and this footage here, you can hear the shot coming from over from the right. Which would be right here. Also, the report of the shot is almost immediate, so it's not too far away. Plus, the fact that they saw a guy on the roof, is it impossible that there's another shooter? No. But we just have the evidence to go off of. This is the evidence we have to go off of. We saw a guy on the roof that aligns with where the shot came from. You know, there was a video from a guy here that saw the guy going prone on the rooftop. A video from back here saw what is presumed to be the shooter getting up and running this way immediately after the shot rang out. And so I think there's sufficient evidence to say that this is your primary suspect. Is it impossible? But no, it's not impossible that there's more than one shooter, but all we have to go on is the evidence. If there's evidence that there's another shooter, I'd love to hear it, but otherwise, you know, we don't just make stuff up or, you know, buy into like low probability theories. Footage of rooftop runner. At the very least, it wasn't someone having a sort of mental crisis. Definitely thought ahead. Well, I mean, look, they could still be mentally ill, but clearly an intelligent actor of sorts. Clearly this was premeditated. This was thought out. Had some level of patience and temperament, the proper because like a lot of these like schizoed out nut job shooters would shoot several times, because a lot of these people want to be seen, they want to be discovered, they want to go out guns blazing. The fact that this guy took his shot, had a clear escape route, says this is maybe not so much, you know, this is more like a symbolic or calculated assassination more than one that is about personal visibility with like a lot of these other shooters. Why are you assuming it is just one guy? That's all we have to go off of. The evidence points that it's towards one guy. If you have evidence that there's more than one guy, sure, but we're just basing this off of what we know. Yeah, it's not the typical psychotic break, rage takes over type thing. Yeah. Sorry, like you start from the yeah, let me start all over, Smelly. Let me start all over. My bad. My bad. Yeah, we're just kind of going over some of the details that have arisen over the past 24 or so hours, which unfortunately is not a lot new. So it's not impossible it's a lone gunman. There have been intelligent lone actors in the past, you know, in history. I mean, if you think of like, you know, Ted Kaczynski or the Boston Marathon bomber, you know. You know, so it's not impossible. That it's just a lone actor. And that's even, you know, and maybe you believe, like, maybe you lean more heavily into the MK Ultra handler stuff. And there's certainly evidence to suggest that, look, whenever you see a lot of these shooters, the feds aren't far away. You know, a lot of them are on SSRIs. They have some kind of informant groomer that groom them on Discord or something to commit heinous acts. But, started with Harambe. Yeah, start with Harambe. If you want to look at the footage, there's no blood coming out of the back, no splatter on the drop. The hole you see in the neck could be an exit wound. It's not an exit wound. It's not indicative of an exit wound. An exit wound would have been way more violent, especially if it's 30 caliber. If it's 7.62 by 5.1, it would have been way more violent, and it would have been immediate. But you see the puncture, and then blood starts coming out. If it was an exit wound, you would have seen it. So that theory, is, as far as I'm concerned, has been debunked. Yeah, it all started with Luigi Mangione. Yeah, dude, it's like, and then there's been a couple of false alarms today. There's been another shooting at Annapolis. It's like hard to keep track of all of this stuff. It's like, you know, things are just unraveling. Ripperoni, yeah. Sorry, what is an SSRI? A serotonin reuptake inhibitor. Yeah. It's a, I mean, you know what that is, right? You're playing dumb. Thought they were saying 30-06. Apparently it's 30 caliber. Alright, that's 7.62 by 5.1. Am I right? They have a picture of the supposed firearm. Oh, is there new updates? Breaking. Kash Patel has arrived in Utah Valley to oversee the investigation of Charlie Kirk's assassination. This is supposedly the assailant. The chief suspect. Does it look like maybe he has it in his pant leg or something? Also, maybe I'm naive. Is there something I'm missing here? But why didn't... It was reported that they had CCTV footage yesterday. I don't know why they're releasing it today. Is there a reason for that I'm not thinking of? Maybe they just had to corroborate it. But if it truly is a manhunt and you have an open line for tips, wouldn't you want people to be able to identify who they're looking for? A small interjection from admin. These photos were very obviously taken from closed-circuit television footage. These aren't still images they've obtained. It feels like law enforcement are intentionally only sending out the most vague still shots available without showing the full video that may assist even stronger with locating the person of interest. Why? That's kind of what I'm saying. Usually when you have a manhunt, do they not release as much information as they can to the public to assist in the investigation? Am I crazy? Am I naive? Am I forgetting something? But the fact that, like, you know, and we were here yesterday. We were watching this live, and it was like eerily silent from the authorities as far as updates on the suspects, information on the potential suspects. So I'm a little... something just doesn't sit right with me about all of this. Seems like you would need to, just so people could ID him, what if he kept killing people in public somewhere else? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, something just doesn't... Like, they were reportedly going door to door looking for the guy. but they're not telling anybody who they're looking for? What are they looking for then? Because surely they have some idea of who they were looking for, but they're not releasing that. So if somebody sees the guy walking, this guy, the suspect or whatever, walking down the street 5 minutes prior to the police showing up, make it make sense. Is this just incompetence? Or is this some kind of cover-up? Because there's all these conflicting reports from these different agencies. Maybe because this is a third guy, so they're hesitant about ruining another guy's life, unfortunately. What, maybe you think he's a patsy? Possible. I'm not sure. And to be frank, we don't even know if the rifle belonged to him. I mean, allow me to engage in some speculation. And conjecture, but like if I were to cover something up, what kind of evidence would I sprinkle around the crime scene? Well, what's the common narrative? Well, you have a lot of trans shooters. That's been a common theme. Wouldn't that be a convenient explanation that this was just another schizoed out, SSRI'd trans person, that another copycat killer, just like the other one, just like the one in Minneapolis, just like the ones previously. What was that person's name? There was like a string of 3 where they all had like similar. Crazy how they all blend together now. Where they had all these kinds of messages painted on their guns, and they had manifestos. Is that what they're trying to signal? That they just found this gun in a bush? Trust us? You know, how do we know that? Let's just, again, speculate. How do we know an FBI agent didn't just take a gun, toss it in a bush, and go, oh, look, we found the gun? You know, I mean, it's silly, but it is, we can't corroborate that claim. We have to either accept that evidence or reject it at this point in time. This reeks to high heaven. No way there isn't foul play. Yeah, I look, I'm still refraining from saying anything definitive here, but I have my suspicions. And so then why? I guess the question is, if we have the means, we have the opportunity, what about the motive? Why would they do this? Right? They have the means. Okay, let's say it is some kind of op. It was some kind of planned op. Not too difficult of a shot. You know, any reasonably intelligent person that's, you know, decent at planning would have figured out an escape route, figured out a distraction, whatever. So the means is there. The opportunity is obviously there. You know, this was a tour. It could have been in Utah, it could have been at his next university. Plenty of opportunity. But what's the motive? Who would have this been? Who are the potential suspects? Well, I mean, obviously the one that maybe they want to lean more heavily into is the lone shooter, maybe trans ideology, according to the leak. Where is it? The leak that was given to Stephen Colbert. Not Stephen Colbert, Stephen Crowder. This is apparently the gun. And apparently... Where is it? Which was apparently engraved with transgender and anti-fascist ideology. All cartridges were engraved with wording on them, to all of the rounds. So that's one working theory, was that this was a lone gunman, maybe an anti-fascist type transgender. Maybe that's true. What if this is some kind of hit? Because there's also reports coming out late last night, and this was reported by Fox News in the leading report. I forgot which person went on Fox News to report this. But he stated that foreign intelligence is somehow involved in this. A little vague. What does that mean exactly? Which foreign intelligence and how? And again, during this period of time, I'm sure there could be misinformation and all that, disinformation, who knows? But I find that bizarre. So would there be a foreign intelligence agency that would have a motive to do this? Well, let's start with our own. Would our government have a motive to kill Charlie Kirk, and why? I don't think so. I think Charlie Kirk has been the biggest cheerleader for Trump. He's been clearly an asset for the admin. Unless you think it's the deep state, but I think the deep state loves Trump for the most part. Trump has kind of done everything they've wanted. The war in Ukraine is still waging on. He's bombing Iran. He's giving Israel everything they want. I don't think it's our own government. Okay, well, what about Mossad then? Well, let's save Mossad for last, actually. Well, could it be Russia? Russia has an uptick in aggression against, certainly against NATO. Reported that drone attack was intentional. Was intentional. It was not a mistake. They deliberately flew drones into NATO airspace using Polish SIM cards. I think if it was organic nutty lib, it would be just been close up with the handgun. Well, that's another thing. I don't necessarily think that it's the most plausible theory. I don't think this person is necessarily deranged or unhinged in the way we've seen previous shooters, because a lot of those people have a death wish. It could be a Ted Kaczynski type of person, somebody ideologically driven but still intelligent and not suicidal. That's still possible. So would Russia have something to do with this? I don't think they would target Charlie Kirk. I don't think they would assassinate an American on American soil. I think that's a clear miscalculation, especially a political commentator, not even somebody in the administration. So it's pointing less towards a political motivation and more towards like a symbolic one. This wasn't a power play. This wasn't, I think, anything of that nature. They might blame Iran. If I'm not mistaken, Netanyahu came out and he blamed this on radical Islam, which I think is bizarre and suspicious, especially considering we don't know who did the shooting. I think that's a bold claim. And I wouldn't put it past them to blame it all on their enemies like they usually do. But that's certainly suspicious considering we simply don't have the suspect. We don't have the motive. We don't have a manifesto. This is pure conjecture. If it was a deep state, then the whole thing's fake video and all. What makes you say that? The video is fake, or the video of the suspect? I mean, like, our deep state's not the only one that can do stuff like this. You'd have to be suicidal to do this if you weren't Black Ops. They'd ID'd people at January 6th by earlobes. No way they get away with this and they aren't Rambo or James Bond, if they aren't Rambo and James Bond. I will say, yes, that's true. We have the capability of IDing people, but it's also, this is a university campus. This isn't the Capitol building. There are far fewer resources here than there were around the Capitol building, for obvious reasons. Now, that being said, there's probably sufficient footage and like even stuff like cell phone telemetry, for example. If this guy was carrying a cell phone that wasn't in a Faraday bag, they could track that down pretty quickly. But regardless, there are not nearly as many resources defending Charlie Kirk than, the Capitol building. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't go that far. Well, if we're going to go down the rabbit hole, then what if Charlie's alive on a... No, I don't think it's fake at all. No, it's been confirmed. I think he's dead. Again, like... Yeah, I think he's dead. Look, I don't know what else to say. Like, if you can find evidence that this was fake, let's see it. But otherwise, what does Charlie gain from that? What does Charlie gain from that? Because some people saying it was AI, and I don't think that's true either. I think a lot of those are artifacts from iPhones. Like AI upscaling. Not that I personally believe that, but it's all wild speculation. Yeah, I mean, that's all we can do is speculate, but we're trying to come up with like plausible motives and suspects. The people who think this was fake are literally mentally ill. Yeah, I think a lot of the theories have already been debunked. The footage is not AI. It's not fake. It's real. There are hundreds of eyewitnesses. It would take a lot to fake this, quite frankly. I don't think it's fake at all. Some people said he was wearing I mean, even just small stuff. Like some people thought he was wearing a vest. That was disproven. You can see he's not wearing a vest. What else? Some people the AI footage stuff, I think was just artifacts from iPhones. So who are they going to try to, would Iran do something like this? Well, why would they do this? Why would they kill Charlie Kirk? Because he's a big proponent of Israel? Maybe, but that's kind of inconsequential, and that's an enormous risk. Again, Charlie Kirk did not hold governmental power. He was a commentator. He did a talk show and held rallies. He doesn't hold any real government power. So, I'm not sure what Iran would accomplish through an assassination like this. I don't think that really makes sense. If anything, it would just invite a response from America, which they clearly don't want. And that doesn't really track with Iran's track record. They've been very, very reserved in their responses. Very reserved. Israel's bombed them. America's bombed them. And most of the time they've responded by giving them 24 hours warning and bombing empty airfields in response. So Iran's been remarkably reserved. I highly doubt they would conduct any kind of assassination attempt in America on American soil. So then what about Israel? Would Israel do this? What does Israel have to gain? Charlie Kirk was the biggest cheerleader for Israel. Why would Israel kill off an asset like that? Well, I think there might be a couple reasons. I think for starters, it's sort of an open secret at this point that TPUSA is filled with groypers. It is filled with Israel critics. It's been infiltrated. Everybody knows this at this point. You see it in a lot of the media. This is coming straight from Nick, the horse's mouth. So it's from what he knows from the inside. And when you also consider what TPUSA is, it's kind of a pipeline for jobs in politics, in government and politics. So if we know this, you can bet Israel knows this. So the question would be, why would they empower their enemies to gain political power in the coming years by funding TPUSA? And clearly they've been losing control of the narrative. And so maybe, so much so that Charlie Kirk has had to concede on a number of points, where he began criticizing elements of the way Israel's done things. And so, and then you combine that with, there have been a couple eerie things. In one of his last shows, if not his last show, where he was interviewing Ben Shapiro, he asked this question. I wonder if I could pull it up.
And one thing a friend said to me, interestingly, which is, okay, Charlie, we've pushed back against the media on COVID, on lockdowns, on Ukraine, on the border, on, so maybe we should also ask a question. Is the media totally presenting the truth when it comes to Israel? Just a question, that maybe we shouldn't believe everything the media says, because I know I've been conditioned to ask a lot more critical questions over the last couple of years. So, Ben, some people would accuse Israel of wanting to ethnically cleanse.
Netanyahu puts out a post immediately after. Their noblest knight started to question. Israel's the only op that makes sense from the outside, unless Charlie owed money or was involved in criminal rings or something, but we'd never know. Well, he got his money from the Jewish lobby. And then we have the cryptic message from Harrison Smith I mentioned. Again, take this with a grain of salt. Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. And here he is sort of lamenting how despite all of his attempts to be philo-Semitic, he was still, in some instances, being called an anti-Semite by some of them.
And I will say this, the behavior by a lot, both privately and publicly, are pushing people like you and me away. Not like we're going to be pro-Hamas, not like we're going to, but we're like, honestly, the way you are treating me is so repulsive. I have text messages, Megan, calling me an anti-Semite. I am learning biblical Hebrew and writing a book on the Shabbat. I honor the Shabbat, literally the Jewish Sabbath. I visit Israel and fight for it. And there's another article on the Times of Israel today. I could read it on air. I was just reading before I got on. Charlie, what are you doing? Like, why are you, what am I doing? I'm sorry. Like, let's just take a step back here. Like, I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like, some of the mess, and you saw, you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been so unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith is allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the fifth time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages.
Did Jesus assassinate him? Let's just face it. Well, again, hang on. Let's just make the case first. Let's just weigh the options. Let's not jump to conclusions here. It's barely been 24 hours. We're just exploring options right now. We will never see the team or weapon, but we will be assigned a suitable culprit, and it will fit the narrative, trans, black, or lib. And that's sort of what we talked about earlier, that, you know, it would be the perfect cover. You know, how do we know that the gun is legitimate and not staged? And the lack of transparency between the agencies and the lack of cooperation between the agencies, conflicting reports, there's something wrong here. Is it incompetence? Is it something worse?
And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say, the people that are attacking me are in a hyper-paranoid state, because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of over.
Armored Forgers on sale for sissy libtards that need a real game to play. Yeah. Charlie Kirk is gone, but we have Nick Fuentes out with the old and with the new. Look, let's not be glib about this. You know, this is a terrible thing that happened. I don't think we should be glib about it at all. Man was a Christian, he was a father. Might have disagreed with him. But frankly, as far as I'm concerned, he was one of ours. He was American. And I don't doubt that he was a patriot too. Nick is the future now that Charlie is gone. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I mean, come on, it's not even been 20. It's barely been 24 hours. Let's just, you don't need to, you know. And Nick, maybe next we need to ask why they chose Charlie. I'm making a case. I'm making a case. Let me just get through the evidence.
Spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb. Right?
Yeah.
So,
and it's offensive. It's offensive to those of us who have been out there defending them in many instances against critics on our own side. And now you have a couple of comments like, well, what about this? Well, has it gone on too long? Like, is it time to wrap it up? And the thing about Epstein is just so bizarre. I don't know who he was an agent for. It might have been Israel or an asset, or it might have been nobody. But we're allowed to speculate about that. It's like there's some rule you can't go there when it comes to Israel.
Well, you and I believe that we're Americans and Americans first. Period. End of story. We are citizens of this nation. Okay?
That's right.
Israel, we have funded, we have supported, and they're up against a sea of Islamic totalitarianism, and we should be cheering for them, right? Because they're up against barbarians and monsters, and we want them to win. However, here is Megyn Kelly and Charlie Kirk combined, probably 30 million social media followers, like pretty, right? And you and I have been holding this down, and you probably get the negative, oh, you're just shilling for Israel, whatever. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what's right regardless of the feedback, right? But then all of a sudden, like, I host a person that I moderate the debate of, mind you, right? And I give equal time to Josh Hammer, equal time to a pro-Israel advocate, and my moral character is being put into question. And so I think it's a hyper-paranoid, like, we're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice, but it goes to the point where, if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government about backlash than actual Israelis do. And that's really, really weird, isn't it, Megan?
So here's another clip of him
So many times, the whole
questioning.
When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut
This was in
instinct
May.
that I did initially. I
Or
find
March.
this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border. You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun. That's an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down? That is a legitimate non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. The whole country is. Yeah. And you're trying to tell me that they're going to concerts and kibbutzes and schools and by report.
Who's Nick? In front of wife and kids in broad daylight, there are sick people. So I think initially, maybe many of us thought this was a limited hangout. He's forced to concede some of these points, maybe engage a little bit more in speculative thinking or lean into some of these criticisms of Israel. Could this have been more genuine than we were willing to give him credit for? And so you're at this point where they're losing control of the narrative. TPUSA is filled with groypers. Maybe they consider Charlie Kirk was more useful to them as a martyr. Because what does this do for them? It's galvanized the right wing. I think ostensibly it would call into question, why would Israel kill a person who's been vocally pro-Israel, until you sort of look deeper into it. And certainly it's in many ways, it's redirected much of the ire back towards the left, in the way a lot of these leftist degenerates have been cheering this on. Combine that, you maybe blame it on a train shooter or whatever, and you'll have people in America begging for some kind of police state, mass surveillance, to stop this kind of stuff from happening in the future. And on top of that, TPUSA as an organization will likely dry up in funding without Charlie Kirk. So that problem they had with groypers could no longer be a problem anymore if TPUSA ceases to exist shortly. Is it possible that Charlie Kirk was having a genuine change of heart? Jews did this, we will not forget. Look, and if they did do this, I mean, never forget that, look, the groypers cared more about Charlie Kirk than the Jews ever did. Press conference at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time with Kash Patel. Well, that's like right when Nick goes live. Ben Shapiro raised his eyebrows like that because he immediately realized Charlie was a goner. Sam Hyde literally begging for it within an hour. I don't think TPUSA is going to fold. I don't know. But they're dependent on institutional funding. So if the funding goes away because Charlie's gone, then certainly it'll be a less prominent organization. We need Hitler 2.0 at this point. The left has gone unchecked for far too long. Am I live for Nick? No, I'm going to go offline for Nick. Gotta respect the GOAT, you know? All of that being said, there's a very strong case to be made that Israel is the culprit. Obviously, they had the means and opportunity. And so the question is, and I do think they had the motive. I don't think that they're the only potential culprit. You could still blame the left. You could still blame the deep state, organized Democrats, whatever. But I just don't think there's as strong of a case to be made there. Also, when you consider the fact that, I mean, this was clearly a planned and organized, at least to some degree. And it's not impossible a lone person or even just a handful of people could have done this on their own. But it would be more plausible that this was done by some kind of professional organization. Are there any updates? Senior FBI officials as well as FBI Director Kash Patel were just filmed. Okay, so they're just showing up on the scene. The FBI will be holding a press conference, yeah. And Kash Patel will give some kind of statement. Yeah, and you combine that with just the response, the way that this has been handled, the lack of transparency and published information on this is bizarre. At the very least, you could say it's been incompetence. I don't think it's unreasonable to question if this was some kind of intentional cover-up. Or they merely allowed it to happen. Mitt Romney has an excellent team of assassins in St. George. The fundamentalist Mormons. Mittens is known for Iran-Contra drug running and weapons dealing, and he hates Trump. You'd love to blame the juice. It's too early. And that's what I'm saying. It's still too early. Mitt Romney. But Mittens is... Mitt Romney's known for Iran-Contra drug running and weapons dealing, and he hates Trump. But why would he go after Charlie Kirk, though? You know, why would Mitt Romney go after Charlie Kirk? If anything, Charlie Kirk was saying vote Republican because it's the lesser of two evils. Ostensibly, Mitt Romney benefits from that. And besides, like, he might hate Trump, but Trump is pretty much the GOP now. How is he really that much different from Mitt Romney? I have a hard time believing that, and it's possible maybe this was some kind of mafia hit. You know, some kind of deep state, political op. But what do they, is that worth? Is it worth taking out Charlie Kirk? I don't know. Again, like, Charlie Kirk is just a political commentator. It seems more symbolic, if anything. It's so hard to believe that because it's literally them every time. You either have to be crazy or sound insane to see it. Mittens has been chased out of the GOP. Charlie is Trump's boy. I guess. But, you know, Trump's already in office. So what does killing Charlie do? Other than just being associated with Trump. Is it still two different wings of Zionism fighting for control? What do you mean by that? Many are speculating a major announcement will be made at this presser, given that the director of the FBI will be present and all major media has been invited. That's not good. Or is it good? I don't know. What, are they going to blame it on Iran or something? Charlie Kirk's casket is now being transported to Arizona. Fuck, man. I mean, we know there's infighting in Zionism, but I don't see how that explains what that per se has to do with this particular assassination. Communist Zios versus neocon Zios. Well, more like Bolsheviks versus Zionists, but they're still team. They're still team tribe, and there's left-wing look, there's you know, left-wing Zionists and right-wing Zionists. They were on the brink of civil war, they say, in Israel. But again, what does killing Charlie Kirk necessarily have to do with that? Like, how does that help the power struggle? One way or the other. It'll probably end up being the juice, but the oligarchs seem to be fighting. But again, how does Charlie Kirk get caught up in the middle of that? Harping on Zionist infighting is such a cop-out and doesn't really matter. Yeah, I just don't see that angle. They infight, but I don't know. What does that have to do with Charlie Kirk though? Like, why? How does one faction or the other really gain anything from killing Charlie, if not just the collective as a whole by martyring Charlie? But again, it's still too early to say. That's just one potential theory. Maybe it really is more plausible. This was just an ideological kind of left-wing schizo intelligent one, like a Ted Kaczynski type or something. You know, maybe it's not governmental at all. That's still a real possibility. This is just bizarre. People just want to know the truth, obviously, but maybe it's pointless in speculating right now. And then they've been, I mean, you just see shit like this, you know? And these people have been getting canceled all day. Oh, it's already been limited, huh? Yeah. I mean, these people are sick.
Good shit. Real niggas make good times. Good times create bitch niggas. Bitch niggas create bad times. Bad times create real niggas. And
Real.
that was one of those instances where the bitch niggas were creating the bad times. That was
So true, King. The Bannon, yeah, I see Bannon suggests Nick will be the ascendant figure after Charlie's death. And I agree, I think that's on point.
Ad read, it only takes money, but he's also a Nazi. What do we do? Come on, man. It only makes money by small listener funds. His track record has been consistent. He's an honest actor, but he's a white nationalist.
Yeah,
Use aside, he's offered to debate multiple times. Okay, I don't want to debate.
Yeah,
if
debating
Jews,
is not a good format.
If Jews are a subhuman species who fucking run the entire
That's a
planet,
straw
I'm
man.
not interested in that debate. That's fucking stupid. I don't want to debate that, and I don't want to validate that mindset. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Like no, like I was always on the fence of, hey, is my policy like, bro, I'll debate anybody about anything anywhere, or do I have some standards and some rules and some shit?
Yeah, dude. It's just either stupid or bad faith.
Where it's like, you know what, maybe it's not a good idea to like pretend like this is a serious debate. And like,
Yeah, I mean, I know I was considered intended audience, but as I get Turning Point stuff pop up pretty often on YouTube, if I didn't agree with him, I could see someone becoming enraged, though. The silence of the kids were listening. Wait, what are we talking about now? I've been hearing for years since COVID that the country will be shifted hard right, and they need us angry. They will eliminate moderate voices. The trans, gays, and blacks are here to create a disgust response. I mean, I don't know if this is like some grand strategy. I don't think this is like they're deliberately creating right-wing extremism. I don't think that's true. Like, I don't think this is part of some greater op to make people hard right-wing, because how does that benefit them in the long run? If the people in power want to remain in power, how does creating this contingent of radical ultranationalists benefit them in any kind of way? I think in reality, you get people like this, like Kyle Kalinske, that genuinely don't understand our position, but also fail to grasp second and third order consequences. I think that's far more likely than they want everybody to become extremists. That doesn't benefit them in the slightest, actually. They've been combating extremism. They hate extremism. I think they would rather have us be more pissed off about other things than, you know, the Jewish fifth column, for instance, but I don't think this is a part of a grand strategy. Because that doesn't... Why would they want somebody why would they want far-right nationalism to usurp them? Was Charlie considering a presidential run in 2028? Not to my aware. Not as far as I'm aware. And I don't know if he would be old enough. Yeah, I don't think he'd be old enough. If he's 31, and you have to be 35, I'm not sure if he'd be old enough to even run. I don't know when his birthday is. Total police state, if a single event goes down from the right, they will lock it all down. Well, yeah, I mean, you can expect for them to respond to things, but, you know, why would they even take that risk? Why would they create, because that's just the goal, like, why would they create this golem if things were going swimmingly before without a police state? Why would they even risk creating this monster they have to deal with? I think it's more so they're creating this quote-unquote monster because they don't understand. They don't understand our position, and they don't understand these consequences for their actions. As is indicated by Kyle Kalinske, that just, you can clearly tell he doesn't get our position. Liberals, leftists, you know, they don't understand right-wingers. They don't understand the way we think. And if this is a liberal hegemon, well, it follows that they probably struggle to understand why we do the things that we do, why we believe the things that we believe. Conversely, like, conservatives can understand much of the liberal ideology. You know, it's a one born out of compassion. They want a world liberal democracy because they think that'll be more stable. They think people are, you know, they have this sort of egalitarian mindset of blank slatism, that everyone's just kind of the same, and if they just hear the case for liberal democracy, they'll champion it. Whereas much of the world, not only do they reject that, they don't understand it. They're not capable of it. So right-wingers understand liberals far better than liberals understand right-wingers. The monster is already rising, so if they can herd it through a gate, then completely lock everything down, that would make sense as a move. Well, yeah, I mean, they want to foment to a degree. You know, they want in a sense, they want the right wing to be radical so they can smack it down. They want to create violence. They want to vindicate their worldview, but they don't want right-wing extremism to become popular, so to speak. I don't think they necessarily want a police state in so far as they simply see it as a means to an end. If they truly believe anti-Semitism is on the rise, well, what better way to combat that than by locking the country down? I think it's more so a response than their stated end goal. I think it's how they deal with the circumstances that they've built for themselves, rather than they've always wanted a police state to begin with. Pretty sure you can be 34, but you'd have to wait until you're 35 to be inaugurated. All right, so we'll just have to see. I don't know when his birthday is, but maybe he's old enough, or he would have been. Since FBI Director Cashpel will be giving a press conference at this time, I will start the stream immediately after the press conference finishes. Okay, maybe we'll tune in at that time. But it is becoming popular. Yeah, it's becoming popular, but I don't think they understand why. There's this lack of empathy, this lack of self-reflection among many Jews and liberals. They just don't understand why right-wing sentiment is becoming more popular. And you see this in their media, in their rhetoric. It's like there's a refusal to humanize right-wingers. They call us Nazis, whatever. Never conceding any kind of humanizing element. We believe the things we believe because we're evil, bigoted Nazis. That's the crux of their argument. And so it's not so like they don't understand why things are happening. I think Steve Bannon gets it, and Kissinger had him thrown out of the White House. I think Steve Bannon's an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see if him and Nick do a collab or something. I don't have too strong of an opinion on Steve Bannon. But, you know, he got arrested and all that. It'd be interesting. Steve Bannon for president, maybe? Bro, do you think they don't understand? They're not retarded. I mean, do you see what a lot of these Jews, what they're talking about? They're histrionic. They're paranoid. It's not that they maybe don't understand, they don't care. It's almost like they can't help themselves. Yeah, they understand, like, this is a consequence of what's happening. Like, where's the self-reflection? How often have you seen, like, these Jews reflect on, hey, maybe anti-Semitism is rising because Israel's committing a genocide and so many Jews are making excuses for it. Like, just think about what you're saying for 2 seconds. Like, just look at the evidence, the overwhelming evidence. Look at all these people. Look at all these people that are totally fucking delusional, that are celebrating the open bloody murder of Charlie Kirk. These freaks. It's like they're not self-aware enough to consider how this might reflect poorly on them, how this could blow up in their face. Of course they don't care. If they cared, they wouldn't be evil. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's like a lot of it is just like they can't help themselves. You don't get the juice without Oliver Cromwell letting them in. Bannon speaks openly of the first half, and he lets Nick talk about the juice. Part of the pipeline. But yeah, it's like genuinely a lot of people, a lot of liberals and Jews, just they don't understand this phenomenon. All, like, for the past 24 hours, much of this has been just responding to all of these sick people. And I don't think a bitch with multicolored hair thinks about the consequences for anything. Rebel Chat is a Fed posting mob right now. Don't Fed post. We don't avow violence. We disavow violence. Yeah, look, and a lot of these liberals, you know, they've had, it's just consensus. It's just, you know, not to be, you know, use this the like kind of terminology, but it's like hive mind thing. They just contort to the consensus. And a lot of these people were never forced to be self-aware. Actual NPC behavior. Images of main ads. Meant to invoke, discuss, respond to work in 1934. Yeah, for what? Wait, is this a...
Charlie Kirk got shot and he's dead! Finally, somebody with a gun, which is almost everybody in the fucking States, grew a pair and fucking went and shot somebody on the right side. Thank you, can we keep this up, please? Charlie Kirk!
Yeah, that's the person sick. People speculating Trump had a stroke, his mouth drooping on one side today during 9/11 remembrance. Yeah, I heard about that speculation. That might be why he was missing for a week. He's clearly not in good health. Yeah, he's clearly not in good health. Apparently he's been talking a lot about, you know, wanting to get into heaven and whatnot. The wall got her. Like fucking Humpty Dumpty, dude. Humpty Dumpty ass bitch. Rough. All day it's just been shit like this.
He deserves to be because he said that if his daughter got raped.
And you know, it's like, don't never forget how these same people cheered on as conservatives got canceled. For just like mild, like these people are cheering on murder. Cold-blooded political violence. They canceled conservatives for what? For voting for Trump? For expressing their right to vote, which is essential in a democracy, right? So they went out, they canceled, they doxed Trump supporters, conservatives, etc. I think it's totally reasonable that these people lose their jobs. Who would want somebody like this representing their company that's openly celebrating political violence, openly celebrating murder, and calling for more of it? These people hate you and want you dead. And did you have a vid? Oh, the vid of Trump? Here, it's...
How do you want to see your supporters respond to this? Charlie Kirk was a
Can't
big
believe this shit.
advocate
What's up,
of
Kev?
nonviolence
Yeah,
and free
it's
speech on campus. How do you want your
been fucked, man.
supporters to
It's
respond to
really
this?
been bothering me.
He was
This whole
an advocate
situation.
of
I'm not gonna lie.
nonviolence. That's the way I'd like to see people respond.
How do you want to see your supporters respond to this? Charlie Kirk was a big advocate of non.
I guess you can kind of see it, yeah. Maybe a little bit on the left side. Or the right side, rather. His right side. I remember when my grandma was still alive and she had a number of strokes. You know, similar. And that's the rumor, that he had a series of strokes. Yeah, I've been stress eating ever since I saw the horrific footage. Yeah, man, it's just like... Yeah, I don't know. I'm deeply disturbed by all of it. And this is not me being performative at all. I'm being 100% genuine. Like, I couldn't sleep. I had, you know, trouble sleeping. And look, Charlie Kirk, he was... Look, and as far as I'm concerned, you know, he was, in many ways, our political opposition. If you were an outside observer, you'd think that Groypers would be celebrating his death. That America First would be... But no. I think America First, Groypers, Nick... I think it's fair to say that we cared more about Charlie Kirk far more than these Jews or Netanyahu ever did. And I don't call into question his faith or his patriotism. I do believe he was genuine. And the more I sort of see some of this stuff come out, and it's sad that it's always after somebody passes, that, you know, maybe he really was just genuinely looking for the truth, and he bought into much of this hype, the evangelical Zionist hype. It's powerful propaganda. And you could see as towards the end, when he began asking questions, I think he was one of ours. He was he's an American, he was a Christian, he was a patriot. And I wouldn't wish this on my enemies. I wouldn't wish this on my biggest enemies. And he leaves behind a wife and kids. And it's like, this is our country now. This is just a normal occurrence. Like, are we better than Mexico? Are we better than a narco-tyrannical state? I thought this was the promise of America, that you can have open discourse. You have a First Amendment right. And then half the country's cheering this shit on. There's just a deep, deep, deep rot a spiritual rot in our country, in the world, and if nothing else, it makes me sad because we really need Christ now more than ever. These people are lost. You know, people like this are lost. And they genuinely need help. And it'd be one thing if that were in isolation, but these people are, in many ways, they can be dangerous to not only themselves, but to the people around them when they cheer on more violence. So it's just, all of this has just been enough to lament the state that we find ourselves in. I didn't realize Charlie Kirk was moderate right and they shot him. I believe you, this shit's got me fucked up too. Yeah, man. That's why I said it was more brutal than 9/11 for you. I was being serious. Shit is nightmare fuel. Charlie was coming around. He was our unk. Yeah, who knows? And you know, and I said this earlier, but there are reports that, you know, he was attending Catholic mass with his wife, and that the day prior, they made their marriage official in the Catholic Church. So it really makes you wonder, maybe he was just genuinely searching for the truth. Charlie tried hard to bridge the moderate right in Groypers. He's been recently called out Israel for certain things. Yeah, but I identify with Zoomers, millennial are so gay. Yeah, I mean, whatever. He's still an American. You're 33 and identify with Zoomers as well. You can't even get on public transport, open discourse, no shot. Yeah, things are so bad, man. That cartoon of a Groyper asking Charlie a final question, rest easy big guy, we'll meet again someday, got you in the feels. Yeah. Don't give in. I've seen so many videos on brain rot, TikTok, and X of Democrats or center-left people that have said they're done with the left and this is the tipping point. Yeah, man. I mean, there's just a new battle line, so to speak, being drawn. A new political battle line. A new... I don't even like using that term, given the circumstances, but a new... I guess a new axiom. A new... paradigm. It's not are you Republican or Democrat? Are you conservative or liberal? Are you establishment, anti-establishment? I mean, now it's like, are you pro-human or are you anti-human? Do you have a soul or not? Do you have humanity or not? Can you see humanity in other people or not? You know, I just don't see, it's like it's never been more clear it's a fight for good versus evil. Peter Thiel can't answer that question. Yeah, I mean, he thinks he might be the Antichrist, right? Fuck, man. I don't know. Haven't looked into Teal as much, but I've been watching recent videos of him and he's a fucking hilarious dude. Can't ever seem to get a straight answer on anything. Yeah, he's bad news. To put it succinctly, he's no good. Yeah. He's this technocratic transhumanist Zionist shill. He has a series where he's wondering if he's the Antichrist. You know, he's in with the Mossad, CIA. Unit A200, and he provides all those intel services with intelligence through Palantir. For a while, the CIA was the sole client of Palantir. It's essentially the private arm of CIA and the Mossad. And if you know about the history of CIA, then it's like this with the Mossad. Is he like much more transhuman than Elon? Yes. He's worse than Elon. You know, he's part of the whole PayPal mafia. Yeah, don't miss this upcoming 4-part series on the Antichrist San Francisco. I think that's next week, right? I'm gonna be gone next week, by the way. Which, you know, I don't love the timing. I wish I would be here to stream and all that. But I'm gonna be gone from this Saturday, till I might be back Monday evening. Like, I might go live Monday evening, because I get back on Monday. But if not, 100% Tuesday. Not next Tuesday, but the following Tuesday. Just to let everybody know. Going on a yearly trip. Charlie did a lot for our movement. Without him, no corporate war and no direct opposition to our age group, and competition brings out the best. Godspeed, Mr. Kirk. Yeah, you know, he was a good foil. You know, sometimes it's like your rival. It's like, where would Plankton be without Mr. Krabs? And vice versa. You know what I mean? You know, it's like,
Yo, Plankton? Eugene?
Hey,
Hey.
listen, I just wanted to, you know, apologize for my behavior today. Wasn't right what I done, and I realized I hurt the feelings of, someone I care about. You still there?
Yeah. I'm still here.
Good. I want to make it up to you. What do you say we grab a soda?
Sure.
you know. Yeah. This kind of stuff happens in the absence of a false peace. Going to Europe finally? No, just the, oh shit, what did I just drop? Gonna go on a hiking trip. Yeah, Pacific Northwest. The yearly thing with some friends from college. I need to go to Europe, man. I need to go to Europe. I mean, I've been to Europe before, but I need to go to Italy, specifically. Man, I gotta go to Rome, man. It's suspicious. I think Mel was going to say, oh shit, I've been found out. Oh no. Now everybody's gonna know about my gay San Francisco orgies. You got me. Yeah. He seems so loony, it's funny. He's a gosh darn millionaire going around talking about he might be the Antichrist. Or billionaire, rather. Yeah, and I mean, that's just not normal shit. That's not normal. Going around, hey, I wonder if I'm the Antichrist. And if you have that kind of thought, maybe you should be appalled by that. And maybe you should change your ways. He's going to the Zen factory to meet up with Kumquat. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna finally meet up with Kumquat and jump him. Life is all about SpongeBob. We need more Bobs in the... Very good. Very well done. Yeah, we need more Bobs. San Fran and the Bay Area is pretty in the spring. Yeah, I used to live out there, in the Bay Area. It's wonderful. If you just go past a little bit to the northeast, it is pristine. It's some of the most gorgeous land in the country. Go a little bit north into the east, or if you go south along the coast. Gorgeous. Yeah, that's the shameful thing about California, man. It's like, look at what they took from us. That was the promised land. And look at what it's become. We need to reclaim California. It's too gorgeous, it's too resource rich. It's got it all. It is such an awesome state if it weren't for a lot of the people. It's such an awesome state. Jealous never been to the West Coast. It's good. I mean, San Francisco's fucking, it's a hellhole. I didn't live in San Fran. I lived across the bay. And dude, the first time I went to San Francisco, man, it was like there were just crackheads everywhere. You know, there was like just all kinds of garbage and shit on the ground. On the return path across the bridge, there was just a burning fucking car on the bridge. It was just fully engulfed in flames on the highway. It's like, okay, well, you're now leaving San Francisco. And I hope you enjoyed your stay. You're in California, it's perfect. Just don't look at LA, San Francisco, or Sacramento. Yeah, dude. California's so good. If it weren't for the people and the politics, fuck, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. Speaking of, we need to find the, where is this, where is this press conference happening? FBI. It's happening on YouTube. Can I pick it up on YouTube? Who knows? Maybe maybe Jefferson might become a new state someday. Imagine. Can we just get like Emperor Trump to go in and just take over California? Imagine. I'm a California supremacist. Nothing compares, minus the degeneracy. It's so good, man. It's so fucking good. And I'm from Chicago. And I love Chicago. I think as far as cities go, American cities go, it's peak, but I mean, look, everything's just gone to shit nowadays. It's just not the same. The most right-wing towns are in California. You're in one of them. Yeah, outside the major cities, it's a red state. You've been to Cali in 13. You haven't been to Cali in 13 years. LA was actually decent then. Your uncle used to live in Paso Robles, which is in the northeast. Absolutely beautiful. He lived in a gated community along a small mountain. Gated community in LA, huh? Can we get an early life check? Can we get an early life check? You know about Jefferson? Yeah. I'm not like an expert on it, you know, but I've heard about it. I know they're trying. Last time I checked, don't you need like permission from the state to secede from that state? Seems like, in what world would they ever allow that to happen? Paso Robles isn't in LA. We would drive down to LA. Okay. Yeah, because if you're in West LA or, you know, Hollywood, Beverly Hills, a lot of you know, I hate when Nick talks about LA as being part of California. Yeah, I've only briefly been to LA. Dude, the traffic is, I would redacted. That's what I would do. I would lose my fucking shit if I had to deal with that every day. That's why you just gotta be rich. You gotta be rich, and then you can live in a gated community and like walk to work, or like work from home, or like just have other people work for you, you know? Just be rich. That's step one. Just become stupid rich, and then you don't have to commute anywhere. Here, Tim Pool with his Civil War predictions. Dude, this fucking clown. I'm tough. I put my serious beanie on today. I put my serious beanie on today for the show. We're Civil War. How many times has this guy talked about Civil War, man? Ugh. My hometown is in high desert. Wait, before we... Hang on. We have to find the... Where's this press conference happening? Surely it's... Why did I do that? Whoops. News. Oh, here we go. This must be it. My hometown in the high desert is turning into little LA. It's unrecognizable and brown. It's like Texas, man. Magical Girl, why does it take Fuentes so long to start the show? Is there a hack to know when it starts? He's Mexican. Honestly, as an Italian, I'll take credit for that. Wait for the tweet. Yeah, wait for the tweet, wait for the telegram. It's a pop-up show, you know? It's a shit test. Are you loyal or not? Peso Robles is about 45% Repub and 29% Dem. Explains why the community he was in was nice, but now he alternates between Chicago in the summer, so he's close to his kids in Texas in the winter. I see. I don't need the tweet, just wondering if Nick has a method to his madness. Nope. Unless he states otherwise, you get your free show when you get it. You know. Speaker, please tell Nick to start on time and stop eating fast food and don't skip leg. Yeah, let me super chat that to him real quick. I'll get right on that. I'm sure he'll listen. I'm sure he's never heard that before. We just need to let him know. That won't make him crash out. That won't make him hate you. I mean, California, Texas have been historically brown. Not as brown as they have been. There are now. I mean, yeah, you've got indigenous people and you've got, you know, the Mexicans that were there before it became part of America, but not like it is now. It isn't a free show. You pay with your patience. Nothing is truly free in life. It just depends on how you pay. Kumquat, are you playing Arma right now? This is what Kumquat does. He goes away. I don't know when he's here, when he isn't here. Sometimes he's listening, but playing Arma because he's got one monitor. Yeah. Ah, there we go. I would hope there would be a statewide vote. For what? For what now?
One, two, three.
Oh, they're testing the mic.
2, 3, mic check, mic check. 1, 2, 3.
Nick is going to go live immediately after this, so as soon as this ends, I'm going to hop off. And everyone will go watch Nick. Let me do my shilling now, I guess. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, be notified when I go live. I'll follow all my socials in the description. Am I forgetting anything? I hate shilling, man. I hate... But you gotta do your call to action, right? That's what every good content creator does. Did you know only 1% of you guys, only 13% of you guys, only 88% of you guys are subscribed? And you might not even know it. Kumquat is playing Among Us, always pretty sus. Kumquat. Nick isn't even awake. Nah, he's awake. He was tweeting, unless he's tweeting from his dreams. The powers, to be sure, want us in a civil war. I don't think so. I don't think they genuinely want a civil war. Because why? If the powers that be, if they're in charge of America, why would they want to destroy America, of which they're in charge of? I don't think that makes sense. I just think a lot of these people just don't know when to stop, and they're lacking self-awareness, and they're just pushing their ideology, their interests to the detriment of everyone else, and I mean, you see where it's getting them. Anyway. Follow Mello on twitch.tv/MelloTV. Yeah, you can follow my Twitch too. I'm live on Twitch, Kick, and YouTube at the same time. Although, I'm getting really fucking tired of Kick, man, I'm gonna be honest. Pissing me off. It's just like non-stop ads. Non-stop people trying to sell me like shit on Discord. Taking a siesta. Reading the comments. Goatquat. Kingquat. I'm seething right now. Alright, let's just wait for Cash to come on. He's worth waiting for. What, Nick? 55K in Nick's lobby? Oh, wow. Damn. And he just went live. Like, he just had the pre-show 16 minutes ago. Yeah, we're getting 100K tonight? Damn. But yeah, Nick did say he is going live immediately after this. Initially said 8:30, which is now. But then he said, since FBI Director Kash Patel will be giving a press conference at this time, I will start the stream immediately after the press conference finishes. Wait, did they just say they're running 10 to 15 minutes late? Did I just read that? Bring up the Indian. There is something upsetting about... She just did a mic check in Spanish. I know this is like boomer coded, but there is something pretty upsetting about that. We live in America, damn it. Even the FBI. Don't go in Linux lobby, it's a hellhole. What's going on in here? I can't even... Look at it go. Same with the American flag. Hello, speaker. Would you be... Kumquat, thank you so much. Would you be interested in buying some goon juice for the low price of $25 US? You can purchase the goon juice at goongang.net. Maybe I will, Kumquat. Maybe I will buy some goon juice. I don't know what that is, though. At this point, I'm too afraid to ask. Hey, how is that Brave browser? I've been considering switching to Chrome, from Chrome to Brave or Firefox. Can't decide. I like it. It's built on Chrome on the back end, but it doesn't have like the same telemetry. I use a search engine too. I prefer it to Chrome. So yeah, definitely jump over to Brave. Like all of the extensions from Brave work, or from Chrome work, so this is like a pre-show bonus. Yeah. I scream at the moment whenever it asks English or Spanish. Yeah. Dude, it's just like the fucking audacity. The chutzpah. Come to America and not even bother learning English. Not even trying. People live here for 30 years, can't speak a lick of English, you know? Because it would be a great excuse to bring in digital surveillance. For what? Huh? What now? What now? What are we talking about? Is a candidate asks in 30 languages? Like, dude, that's just like... That deeply offends me. Oh, we got it. Nick Fuentes in chat. Open seat about it, Gringo. Fucking kumquat. What if they don't get the shooter? I don't think they will at this point. Maybe they'll have a patsy. We'll just have to wait and see. At this point, like, the guy could be anywhere. I crash out. I wouldn't want to put myself in that situation. Yeah. Look at this Nicholas. He was born here, dude. He was born here. His family's been here for like 150 years. Where's Cash? Late. 10 to 15 minutes late. How many languages can I speak? I can speak English, German, and a little bit of Japanese. But I forgot all my Japanese. But the only language I need is English, brother. Can I get a hell yeah? Can I get a hell yeah, brother, for the 4th of July? All access powers. Well, English. If I knew Italian, then yeah, but... Nick's family was here right before World War II, or somewhere around there. Not 150 years. No, he was longer than that. It's at least 100 years. At least. At least. See, my family's been here on both sides about 150 years. Give or take. Yeah, I know. It's just low-hanging Nick is Mexican joke, you know. Fuentes. Italian is similar to Spanish, yeah. In World War II, Italy surrendered before France. Moved from South Florida because everyone spoke Spanish, even the billboards. Fuck, dude. I just hate that, man. You go to New York City, it's just like you enter into like an open bazaar. It's just like a different world, man. All these different languages, people, alien. You just stepped into the alien mothership. Might as well be speaking glorp glorp. Top 5 European cities to visit. Are you asking me? Vichy France was loyal to Germany. They were even in Berlin at the end. Oh, that's what you're... Okay. Yeah, I thought you were talking about from the other side. I was a little confused. But, I mean, yeah. But that's not really like a big player, huh? To be fair, they do say New York City is not America. Yeah, we need to reclaim New York City and make it America again. I'm starting to think I might be Jewish. I'm starting to be more susceptible to picking up change off the ground recently. It's like, are you Jewish or poor? Can't decide. I can't figure out if I'm Jewish or if I'm just broke. And that penny is just like, penny saved is a penny earned. You ask me a question and never see your answer in time? Wait, what did I ask? Oh, thanks for helping. Got kicked off at... I'm lost. I don't even know. No, I hear you though. Yeah. No, yeah. Southern Florida is... Man, it's like, dude, have you seen what's going on in like Texas, like Dallas? It's fucking like Indian land. It's insane. Like everybody's Indian. Oh my gosh. Or Jew. Oh wait, yeah. Why would they want civil war? Because it would be a great excuse to bring... Oh, that's what you're saying. To bring in digital surveillance. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, to be honest. I think they just need an inciting incident. I think if they want digital surveillance, they just need to get the right wing on board with that. Maybe this is part of it, you know? Maybe what we're seeing now is a way to get, or the way they'll use this tragedy as a way to get the right wing on board with it. I don't think they would go so far as a civil war just for digital surveillance. I just think they need a false flag or some kind of inciting incident they could use and then get people on board. Because how many people, you see what's going on social media, you see all of the vitriol, all of these deranged lunatics calling for more violence. At this point, would we be surprised if the right wing is practically begging for more surveillance, begging for more censorship and social media control? Is that far-fetched now? This to say that much of this will be used to get right-wingers in favor of all of this for a Patriot Act Part 2? I don't think a civil war is necessary to achieve that. Top 5 cities to visit in Europe. Let's see, well... The Hague. Prague. Okay, for me, Prague, and I haven't been all throughout Europe. Prague is I think you gotta visit Prague. Prague is beautiful. It's amazing. I like The Hague a lot. I visited Berlin. It's kind of definitely going downhill. I also visited Stuttgart, which kind of boring, not too interesting. They make Mercedes-Benz there. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've been to Europe. Where else have I been in Europe? I haven't done that much traveling in Europe. You love Prague? Yeah, Prague is great. Prague is fantastic. It's been a while. Oh, where did I go in Belgium? Oh, Amsterdam's really nice. I did go to Amsterdam. I can recommend Amsterdam. Kind of degenerate though. Not gonna lie, pretty degenerate. But so is Prague's a little degenerate too. You know, they've got the red light district and all that. But Amsterdam is just like, you know, people are just smoking weed everywhere. But still a nice time. Yeah, Prague, so nice. If I could only go to one of those places, Prague. I would say Prague. Man, I need to go back to Europe, man. I just love Europe. Europe has so much that America doesn't have. It has this old world aesthetic. It has so much history that we don't have. You can only really get that vibe on like the far east coast of America. But otherwise, it's you're stepping into a time machine. These are the only people that can stand the Texas humidity. Real. Bro, I'm back. Can you play Emotion Engine? Fave song ever. Again? Not right now. We're about to watch his press conference as soon as Cash Patrol comes on. I know a Jewish guy who did the math on picking up change. If you just pick up pennies, it would become $18 an hour. Okay, but you have to find the pennies, you know? It's not a consistent gig, because what if you just get a dry spell? Rome, Italy, DC, Italy are among them. I need to go to Italy, man. Here, Kiev is... Yeah, Kiev is amazing. Thanks for your input, Kumquat. Yeah, Kiev is amazing this time of year. Thanks, Kumquat. You can walk anywhere and find ancient stuff. I was walking through a wheat field in Belgium and found a bombed out Catholic cathedral, still beautiful. Yeah, a lot of history there, man. Dresden, too soon. Too soon. If Europe had First and Second Amendment, I would move. Maybe we just need to bring Europe here, you know? Maybe we just need to consolidate. Exactly, doesn't seem organic to you. Magical Girl, I think you're like behind. I think you're like a couple minutes behind on the stream. You can amplify your odds by picking pennies and wishing fountains. That's so fucking shameless. If you do not pick pennies out of... Bro, have you no shame? Have you no shame? Goat squat. Goat quat strikes again, yeah. Happy 9/11, Mello, forgot to say. Comcall, where's your decorum, man? Seriously? What's up, guys? How's everyone holding up? Not gonna lie, it's been rough. It's been a rough 24 hours. All this stuff is disturbed me more than I initially thought it would. Yeah, we're hanging out, waiting for Nick, waiting for Mr. Cash Patel to go live and give us an update whenever he does that. He's 15 minutes late, so Europe is full of degenerates. Oh well. There's still good people in Europe. We're European, you know what I mean? You could save people from degeneracy. It's just once they're no longer European, you know? Not coming, yeah. Mr. P. Yeah, so is America. Yeah, so is America. There's a lot of places, you know. Like, look at New York, look at San Francisco, look at Portland, look at any major city. Saying lots of prayers, yeah, dude. It's been rough. I'm not gonna lie, it's been rough. And again, I didn't initially think it would hit me as hard, but anyway, I don't want to relitigate the whole thing, but yeah. Very sad. Bridget McCrone seems normal. Very good. Very good. Bridget McCrone, if you can hear us, please save us. Please save us. Please. Please bankrupt Candace Owens, please. That would be so funny. What's going on with these tech guys? Oh shit. Accidentally pressed back. Is that an Alienware computer? Auto-generated? Oof. We're still waiting. You're out of the loop. Who was this Charlie Kirk guy? Really? Miss the days when techies were hidden. Yeah, I don't know what kind of... Oh, is he... Mic check? Oh. I live near SF, and there's lots of good people in that town, but they are the minority, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just like, dude, SF is just fucking... It's just such a mess. It's just such a cesspool. It's just like, you get like all of like the most degenerate liberals, and just a bunch of like fentanyl addicts. It's like hard to believe that San Francisco is a real place. Yeah, where is Sir? Sir, please. Do not redeem. Also missing suits in the workplace. Yeah, what's up with all this casual leisure wear? What's going on? There was a guy with like shorts walking by. Thought this was supposed to be professional. Kumquat's holding everything up. Don't tell him that. Another mic check. Has Kumquat hacked the press conference? Yeah, you know... I'm seething. I was in med school for like the past 48 hours. I saw the video and stuff, but didn't have time to research. There's no way you don't know who Charlie Kirk is. That's crazy. Well, he was just a big political commentator, we'll say that. It's a grave tragedy. Look at that giant monitor. I think we call that a TV. I think that's called a TV, brother. I think we call that a television. I think after a certain size, it's no longer a monitor. Now it's a television. That's like a 60-incher. Switch to Brave. There's something odd with the audio. Your live sounds weird. Gotta be something on your end. Probably. Check your settings and all that. Oh. 2 minutes? Okay. The hive flag. You don't like bees? What are Kumquat's thoughts on hijacking Mello's channel? I think right now he's playing Arma, and he's probably listening to the stream at the same time. And he only has one monitor, like a goofball. But I know he's still here. I think most people are still reasonable. It's just clueless about the ignorant and clueless. Is Kumquat taking over the channel you with Bigfoot in the Northwest? No, I think Kumquat said he's going to be gone too for a while. Coincidentally. He's probably, yeah, he's probably going to, like, dress up as, like, a Wendigo or something and just haunt me. He'll dress up as a skinwalker to haunt me when I'm in the forests. They're edging us along. Any day now. I had one of the first Alienwares, you guys in South Florida. That's why. Oh, wait, here we go. Oh, shit.
Did you make it? Okay, good. Sorry about that.
Hi everybody, thank you for being here today. My name is Hillary Kellner. I am the Communications Director for the Utah Department of Public Safety. This evening we have FBI Director Patel, FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino, Special Agent in Charge Robert Bowles, Governor Spencer Cox, Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, and Commissioner Anderson, as well as, I'm so sorry, Commissioner Bo Mason.
Where is Nick? Nick's going live right after this.
Here present with us
He's not live right now.
Governor, we'll kick it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here tonight. We appreciate the media and the partnership we have with you in helping us to get information out to the public so that we can catch this assassin and hold him accountable. We are going to share a portion of a video and that we have of the suspect, as well as some new stills. Those have already been released, but we want to make sure that they get as much attention as possible so that we can get help from the public in tracking down this evil human being. So we're going to cue up the video right now, show that. I've asked Commissioner Bo Mason if he would narrate to you what is happening in this video.
Thank you, Governor. Bo Mason, Commissioner for the Utah Department of Public Safety. If you look up to the top left, you'll see the building where the shooter was proned out in the top left corner. We'll go ahead and play that video and I'll narrate as we walk through that. So here you see that the suspect ran behind that upper building. He's going to come out on the right, moves to this far right corner. As he does, he's going to climb off the edge and then drop down to the ground. As he did that, he left some palm impressions. There's some smudges, some places we're looking to collect DNA. There's a shoe imprint where we believe the suspect is clearly identified as wearing Converse tennis shoes. Again, we'll replay that again so you can get another view of that. It's important to note his black t-shirt, his black pants, and there appears to be some white on the soles of those Converse tennis shoes. Those are all identifiable items that we're looking for. In the stills that are going to follow this, you're going to see a very distinctive t-shirt with an American flag and appears to have an eagle on it. There's also a baseball cap with a triangle on it and a pair of sunglasses. All distinctive, all things that we would ask the public to look for and try to identify if they know someone who has those items, who has been seen wearing those items. We're looking for all that information. Here you see the suspect after dropping off the building. He moved around across this grass area, around the parking lot. We're going to pan to the right. After he crosses the street, this is where he moves over into the wooded area. This is the video evidence that we utilize to track his movements and to locate that firearm in that wooded area following the discovery of this evidence. Good. You want to go to the stills? So here's the still photographs. I mentioned these have been enhanced. So these are slightly different than what we introduced earlier. Please pay close attention to the t-shirt. Like I said, very distinctive with that American flag and that eagle. The hat with the triangle and the sunglasses. If you'll go to the next picture, please. The backpack as well. all identifying features that we're hoping the public can help us identify and lead us to this suspect. Next picture. And again, there's a better picture of the hat with that triangle logo, and again, the t-shirt. Blue jeans, and you get a good look at those Converse tennis shoes as well. We have pushed these out, we'll continue to push these out, and we just ask for the public's cooperation through the public. The tips that have been coming in are what are giving us our next leads and enabling us to continue to further this investigation. We've had great cooperation from the public, and we're continuing to ask for that as we move forward. Thank you, and I'll turn the time back over to Governor Cox.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mason. I want to thank Director Patel and his team. It's great to have them on the ground with us tonight. We've had several briefings, and he's had an opportunity to walk the crime scene. We appreciate our local law enforcement here. Again, we have Mike Smith, who is the county sheriff here. We have all of our local chiefs of police that are here as well, all working hand in hand with the state and with the FBI as we move forward with this investigation. Now, I'll just give you a little warning. We will not be taking any questions at this time. We're giving you the latest information we have, being as transparent with everything that we have. But I do want to share a couple things that I think are important. We cannot do our job without the public's help right now. The public has answered our call for action. So far, we've received more than 7,000 leads and tips. I would just note that the FBI hasn't received this many digital media tips from the public since the Boston Marathon bombing. This case also highlights the dedication of our law enforcement community. We have 20 federal, state, and local law enforcement partners that are working shoulder to shoulder to find the person who committed this horrific crime. With their support, we've completed nearly 200 interviews. As you're aware, as has already been reported, the FBI is offering a $100,000 reward for information leading to the identification and arrest of the person responsible for the murder of Charlie Kirk. We also continue to implore the public to support this investigation and come forward with any information. We are truly hopeful that this video and new photos will lead to even more tips. We are processing. We have an incredible team, a state and federal team working together to process those tips. We're going out in tandem to interview any potential person of interest or suspects, but we need, again, we need as much help as we can possibly get. Any videos or photos that you might have, the public, should be submitted to our digital media tip line, which is www.fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. Again, that is fbi.gov/Utah Valley shooting, all lowercase. You can also provide general tips about the shooting by calling 1-800-CALL-FBI. That's 1-800-CALL-FBI, or at tips.fbi.gov. This is, I would just say, this is not just a local matter here in Utah. We have people all over the country that are helping to bring this perpetrator to justice for Charlie Kirk and his family. I will just add as well that, as was mentioned, there is a lot of forensic evidence that is being processed right now at both the state lab and the federal labs, federal lab on the East Coast. So we are working in tandem together. I would also just add a word of note for those people who are spending so much time on social media. I think Charlie said it best, that when things get bad, we should put our phones down and spend a little time with our families. There is a tremendous amount of disinformation. We are tracking our team, the state team, and I'm sure the federal team as well. What we're seeing is our adversaries want violence. China, we have bots from Russia, China, all over the world that are trying to instill disinformation and encourage violence. I would encourage you to ignore those, to turn off those streams, and spend a little more time with our families. We desperately need some healing. We'll have more to say about that in the days and weeks to come. More than anything, we are going to catch this person. Last thing I will just say is we've been working with our attorneys, getting everything that we need, affidavits ready, so that we can pursue the death penalty in this case, and that will happen here in the state of Utah. Again, to the public, to those who are grieving, thank you for your prayers. I know we are feeling those prayers. I know the Kirk family is feeling those prayers as well. We pray that God will bless our nation at this very dark time. We can start healing by finding this perpetrator and holding him accountable, and we need your help to do that. Thank you.
Is that it? Passion say anything?
That's why I'm saying, shoot the video. We don't care about sense to us. Could be, okay, I don't know. That's what he was saying. I'm just relaying them. Well, I know. I was trying to zoom in the video, but I want to make sure, because they're streaming on digital, I want to make sure it looks nice. Are they streaming on digital? The desk,
I guess that's it. Okay. So they're not gonna find him.
Where's that at? I don't know.
Is Rumble down? What's going on with that?
They're not.
There we go.
Sure, they're gonna release it.
This tab is just cooked.
Yeah.
All right. I guess that's it.
I don't know what he was saying. He said.
Yeah. I've got some thoughts, but I'll save them.
I apologize.
I guess we'll wait. Let me see it. Are we at Credo yet? I guess I'll wait till Credo. Okay, yeah, I mean... So, like, why... Okay. They have these stills. This is presumably taken from CCTV. Why don't they release the full footage? Give us a little bit more to go off of. Same for what bro laid out. Well, because I don't know when Nick's going live. That's what I'm saying. Why not release all of the footage that they have? Oh my gosh, 100,000 people. Look at the chat. My goodness. They've got nothing, man. Handprints. Because the video was shot in a studio. Well, I don't know if I go that far. But no, I don't think they shot in a studio. That would be so easily to debunk. Anybody that goes to the school would be able to debunk that claim immediately. So they don't have shit, is the summary. Any new updates here, real quick, before? Supporters for Kirk's casket, press conference. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah. This is just a recap of what we saw. Yeah, it could be the limp because he hurt himself. That would explain. I mean, they couldn't even like switch sources. They were looking at the TV through a camera. They couldn't drop the feed directly into the broadcast. What is this, amateur hour? Like, actually, this is amateur hour. Yeah, Cash should not speak. Yeah, yeah. They've got nothing, dude. They've got nothing. It's cooked. It's cooked. I debunk your debunk. Gotcha. The speech was so fast. Nick hasn't finished eating his tendies and fries. I think we're all sitting here like, that's it? Nick who? Nick probably peeking out discussing the conference was, Trump has been in perma amateur hours since he came down from the elevator. Yes, 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 yes. That's yes. Yes, yes, rhetoric. Okay, here we go. It's Credo. All right, everyone. Thanks everyone for watching. Everyone go watch Nick's show. Wow, 115,000 already. Don't forget to like the stream, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the bell notification for when I go live. All of that stuff helps the algo or whatever, or so I'm told. Helps me out. Follow the rest of my socials in the description, and I'll see you guys all tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow for one last stream before I'm out of town for a week. So yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. Yeah, I'll see you guys all. See you all later. Take it easy.